World and Beach World fused up units is going to be the bread and butter of this video. How much HP, how much DPS, and should you fuse up these units? Well, we're gonna find out right now. The first character up in Royal World is going to be Mavis. She's going to have 4,550 HP when fused up and do 231 damage per second. She is very, very strong, and when fused up, she can instantly unlock all of the Carapatches at once. That is pretty good value, but the thing about Mavis is she does do actually a lot of damage, believe it or not, for being a character that is a supplier. Do I recommend you fusing her up? You know, it's not the end of the world if you do. It's kind of one of those 50-50s. If you are going to get more than one of them and, you know, you have to, I do think that you should fuse her. I don't think that she's a bad character to fuse. She doesn't really have any abilities to help you fight. However, I do think that she is worth fusing up, especially if you are going for a supplier game. The next character up inside of Royal World is going to be the Trader. Sitting at 5,600 HP when fused up and doing 189 DPS, he just doesn't really do that much fused up in comparison. I do not recommend you ever fusing up the Trader. I think he's okay in certain modes where there's a lot of gold that's going to be onto the field, but however, I just don't think that he's a very good character inside of Squad Busters right now, and I highly recommend that you avoid fusing him up, because when you are going to fuse him up, he's only going to be a tank. He doesn't even have as much HP as a Mortis. He kind of is sitting in between Mortis and Hog Rider. I do not recommend you fuse him up. He's an okay character in the early game, but honestly, I just would not really invest in Trader right now. The next character is going to be the Wizard. Having 2,975 HP, being one of the squishier characters inside of Squad Busters, even when fused up, the DPS is at 235. It actually shoots 2 shots, 2 projectiles instead of 1, which is actually a lot of AoE damage that you could be doing with the Wizard. If you do have one Wizard, I do highly recommend you upgrade it for the second Wizard, because you're going to be getting the spells still, and you're going to now be able to do a lot more damage with the splash AoE and really be able to take over the game in the end game fights. Not only that, it is very nice to upgrade the Wizard because of not only the damage, but also being able to reset the chest and being able to get more characters. I highly recommend you do fuse up the Wizard if you already have one. Is going to be our next character here. 4,200 HP when fused up, doing 333 DPS. Pretty tanky, does a decent amount of damage. Pam is one of those characters that, you know, I would fuse up. She does a lot, especially when you are just putting her in to just unlock the heal stations for when you are going to open up chests to heal up your army. That's massive value for you. Not only that, you're already pretty much always going to have at least one Pam in your lineup. You may as well continue to get her so that you can upgrade her, get her to a more stable tank form, as well as dealing a lot more damage. Not only that, you're going to be able to reduce the chest costs. You are going to be getting Pam. You are definitely going to be using Pam, and I do highly recommend that you fuse up Pam in your matches. The next character up inside of Royal World is going to be the Royal King. It is going to be an epic character here. It is going to provide 7,700 HP, just 300 HP shy of the Mega Chicken. It's not going to do a lot of damage at 230. However, with the spell that it's going to give you, the Royal Recruit, as well as when you open up chests, Royal Recruits are going to spawn next to that chest. It is a very good character to get in the end game to be able to get units down, be able to control the middle, and be able able to really, take advantage of that late game pressure. Do I think that you should be supering up the Royale King? Not really. I think there's just so many other epics that you should be getting instead if you have the opportunity to. Archer Queen, Witch, Barbarian King, all of these are just better epics that you should be gravitating towards in the late game. I don't even think that you really should be getting the Royal King. As you can see, it is very, very huge. 5 characters at the end is pretty massive for you, but at the end of the day, I don't recommend you getting the Royale King. The next character up inside of Real World is going to be Mortis. 5,950 HP, got a good amount of tank ability, 347 DPS, does a lot of damage as well, and when fused up is going to be able to spawn a million little guys. He's going to be able to help you control the late game, and I do highly recommend that you fuse up Mortis. The reason being is because more units, more power, more value. That is what it is about. You can also heal up Mortis's units as well to keep them alive for longer. The extra NPCs that you are going to be able to control with Mortis is absolutely insane, especially if you are able to snowball a lead. Not only are they going to be part of your army dealing damage, they're going to soak up hits, and that is the most important thing. When people have Colts, when people have Pams, when people have units that are attacking multiple things with multiple bullets, even Shellys, you're going to be able to block them with Mortis, and not only that, you're also going to be able to summon more troops with a fused up Mortis. That is why I think Mortis should definitely be fused, and he is huge value inside of the game. The next character is coming from Beach World. The first character, it's going to be Heavy. When fused up, Heavy is an absolute monster. 8,050 HP, which is more than the Mega Chicken's 8,000. Not only that, he does 240 DPS. He heals when standing still. He's an absolute terror inside of the game. If you can fuse up Heavy, do it. He is so strong. He's so good. But however, if you are trying to fuse up other units, it is kind of going to be hard. If you don't get some heavies early, it's kind of one of those situations where I would rather have a Pam than a Heavy fused up. Maybe I would have 2 just regular heavies because they are still doing a lot of damage. They are tanky. However, Heavy is still an absolute monster. When fused up, you keep him still. You have him just absolutely do 1,000 damage. He's absolute value. The only real characters that I would fuse instead of a Heavy that are common are really nobody. It would have to be a rare or an epic. I think Heavy is absolutely amazing inside of the game, and I do recommend you fuse him up. The next character inside of Beach World is going to be a rare by the name of Penny. Penny does not have a lot of HP at 3,850, but she does a ton. 449 DPS. That is the highest damage inside of Squad Busters. The Witch, I believe, only has 446 damage per second. Penny does the most damage per second. She does so much. She absolutely takes care of pretty much anything in her way. The only thing that can even compare with how strong she is a tank in the tank. However, the weakness of Penny is her HP, so you got to be aware of that. She can find things around the map. I do recommend you potentially fusing up Penny because you're going to be able to get treasure maps. You're going to be able to find the treasure maps. You're able to get more gems, more gold, and not only with that, you're going to transfer that into a late game monster with being able to do a ton of damage. The last character inside of Beach World is going to be Tank. Another rare character here. The Tank Girl is absolutely insane. 4,200 HP, so not a lot of HP. However, she does 247 DPS, but I think every single person who understands tank knows that tank really gets activated when she's inside the tank. The tank absolutely puts in massive amount of damage. As you can see, she's almost one-tapping bigger monsters inside of Squad Busters, and it's absolutely insane how much damage she does. She could easily pick off opponents, and it is maximum value. I recommend you getting tank. I think you should fuse her up just so that you can get the fused up tank, and I think she is one of the best characters to fuse up inside of Squad Busters.